What's going on, PFP fam, and whoever else is watching this? So I came across this, kind of going on this forum on a weekly basis to kind of get some ideas, to answer some questions that keep coming up about certain either fitness or nutrition topics. Today I'm going to answer a question that we kind of covered when we had the nutritionist come to the gym a few weeks ago, and it's the topic on protein. How much protein, sources of protein, and how often. So when it comes to strength training, you're obviously breaking down muscle, or when it comes to like anything where you're exercising, you're breaking down muscle. Okay, breaking down the muscle, and when you break down the muscle, it needs something to build it back up. Muscle's pretty much made of amino acids that are kind of the building blocks of protein, right? So you need certain amino acids to build the protein, okay? To help build the muscle. Obviously, along with other things that help build muscle as well, like carbs and fat. So it's not just protein that you need. Obviously, you need other things. Protein's sort of the main macro that you need to help build muscle or help rebuild muscle and things like that. So now that I kind of gave you a little anatomy and physiology of the whole process, I'm not going to go deeper in. Now we're going to talk about like the sources. So sources of protein. Obviously you have different types of meats. So beef, chicken, turkey, all those types of meats that I personally think, from a standpoint of amino acids, they have the most abundant of everything that you need, essential and non-essential, to build muscle. If you are a vegan and you are watching this, nothing against vegans or vegetarians, it's just gonna be harder for you to get those amino acids. So what you need to do is you need to supplement that with some type of protein. There are different types of vegan or vegetarian proteins out there. This also could be for people that are lactose intolerant. So you have like pea proteins, there's rice. Just make sure when you find protein, and this is specifically for vegetarians or vegans or lactose intolerant, just make sure that there's not a ton of ingredients. I mean, really, you just want the protein and like some type of sweetener, preferably like stevia or things like that. If you don't want protein powders, then focus just on natural sources of protein. So we're talking, again, meats. If you're a vegetarian or vegan, you're going to probably eat a lot of lentils. You're going to probably eat a lot of beans, and things like that. One thing that I know a lot of people want to eat more of, and they think is a good source of protein, is peanut butter and nut butters. Really not a good source of protein. There's probably more fats than protein, so I'd stay away from that as a source of protein. Okay, now that I've referred to sources of protein, or talked about sources of protein, let's go on to how much, how often, like what should I, So to answer those questions, how much and how often, so how much? Really, like the best way to get that answer is based on research, and I'm going to provide the research below. You want to try to get close to your body weight in grams per day. So, if you're anywhere between like 150, 160 pounds, you're going to want to try to get 150 to 160 grams of protein per day. This really helps you sustain the lean mass that you have, and it also helps build more lean mass that you want so you can decrease body fat. So that doesn't mean that you just pound protein all day, because you need calories from other sources of food too. So you got to kind of like figure out what's a good number for protein per day for you. because you want to make sure you're also including carbs and fat as your calories. You don't want to eat too much carbs and fat and then your calorie count is too high, because you have so much protein along with what you think you need in carbs and what you think you need in fat, and then you're like, why am I not losing weight? Because you're eating too much calories. So you have to figure out your protein. I would say like stick to anywhere between 5 to 10 grams, like plus or minus, of your body weight. If you want a more accurate number, get a body fat scan, and whatever your lean mass is, that's how much protein you need to eat per day, or close to it. Then you can add in your carbs and your fats based on activity levels as well. I can go in depth on that as well in another video. So how often, and then this last tidbit I'm going to talk about is something that needs to be debunked, and it keeps getting brought up, and it needs to stop now. So how often? I mean, really, like, you just need to, whatever fits in your schedule. Like if you're 150 pounds and you want to get 150 grams a day, and you only eat 3 times a day, just divide 150 divided by 3, which is around 50 grams per meal, and then you have all your protein intake. Okay, so that's one way. Or just split up in smaller meals if you want to eat like 25 to 30 grams, 3 or 4 times a day, or 5 or 6, whatever fits best for you to keep your energy levels up, so be it. Just make sure you know how much is in what you're eating. Another way to do it is, like, if you have breakfast and you're eating like 2 or 3 eggs, and then you have a lunch with like a piece of chicken and then some, whatever at dinner, and you're only getting like anywhere between 100 and 120, and you need like that last like 20 or 25 grams, I would pop in a protein shake somewhere in there. It's really important that you hit those numbers regularly every single day. It can't just be like one day you hit it and then like 2 days later you hit it. It's got to be consistent so that the body keeps using the materials that needs to keep building on top of what it got yesterday, because you're constantly breaking down, because your body's constantly trying to rebuild and rebuild and rebuild. So you just got to make sure you don't undereat as well. Last thing I want to talk about is it bad for your kidneys? No, protein is not bad for your kidneys. There has been, I want to say 5 to 6 papers that have come out in the recent, past, I would say 5 to 8 years, that has shown that even at 2 to 3 times the RDA amount, there has been no damage or no issues with the kidney function. This also means that you have to be careful if you already have kidney issues. If you already have kidney issues, then you want to consult with the doctor before you have a high intake of protein. So, hope this makes sense. Hope this is helpful. Make sure when you are watching this that you're taking notes, so that you can refer to those notes, and then you don't have to keep figuring out what did I miss something, whatever. I want you to make sure you take notes, because it's very helpful when you refer to things that you had previously watched, so you don't forget. Peace. Have a great day.